Hey guys, this is Steli after with Closeout. Today I want to talk about managing rejection in sales and what you can do to actually prepare your team to be emotionally stable and be able to actually deal with the daily rejection that's going to be part of their day if they're actually a kick-ass sales team. All right, so we all know, hopefully, that rejection is part of sales. And whenever the amount of rejection goes down or you don't encounter enough rejection, that's one of the biggest red flags that you can have managing a sales team, running one yourself, or even as an individual salesperson. When you look at your day-to-day results, if you don't have enough rejection, you're not selling enough. You're not bold enough. You're not trying things that are challenging enough. You're not stretching yourself out and really going after opportunities for growth. So now, it's fine and easy to say, yeah, rejection is awesome. You should have more of it. Rejection, people telling you no and that you suck is great. But we all know it sucks. We all know that we like to avoid rejection. And most of us design their entire life around avoiding rejection as much as possible. Now, how do we reverse something that has been hard-coded and programmed into us since we were little children? How do you change somebody's internal response? Karan is showing up cat pictures. Yes, this is one of our sales guys here. So how do you actually deal with this? Humor is one way, but how do you actually learn to decode, recode, and reframe your own emotional household and how you deal with rejection on a daily basis? Well, first and foremost, as a pro tip, if you're hiring people, look for people that have a very high tolerance level for pain. Look for people that had to take a beating emotionally, sometimes even physically in their life and found ways to move forward and progress and not slow down even despite some challenges and even despite being rejected. Look for people that have that natural internal strength to deal with this. Because it's much easier to take somebody that has that kind of core hustle in them and that kind of is able to brush it off when something bad happens or rejection happens and train them to become even better at it than taking somebody that has massive issues with rejection and trying to completely change their lives. So look for people that have some level of rejection muscle coming into the relationship with your team, your business, and what you're doing. But here's a couple of things that you can actually do to help people manage rejection. Two simple ideas. Number one is refocus on failure rates as your core metrics versus success rates. So here's what I mean by that. Instead of saying every salesperson, let's say, needs to make 3 appointments a day or needs to close 3 deals a day, instead of saying that and focusing everybody's attention on success, you can start actually focusing their attention on failure. And what I mean by that, I know it sounds weird, is to look at your overall funnel, your metrics, and say, let's look at this individual salesperson. If that person does 100, let's say 100 sales calls, out of the 100 sales calls, that person will typically have 10 real sales conversations. Out of those 10 sales conversations, really productive conversations, 7 will lead to a no, 3 will lead to a yes. That's our current success rate. Now, instead of telling the person that what they should be focusing on is getting the 3 deals closed every single day as their benchmark, you tell them to focus on getting 7 rejections every single day. And here's why. Once somebody focuses on rejection, success happens automatically. And we all know in sales, days fluctuate. Some days are really fucking amazing and we're killing it and just, it's raining money and deals on us. And some days are dry and depressing and just nothing works. So it's not like a sales day is not like a car assembly line production. Every day doesn't look the same. Every minute and every hour doesn't look the same. So you can't treat it the same. So here's what happens a lot of times. A salesperson will come in, and if a salesperson is actually focusing on success, they'll make, on a good day, they're not even going to get to the 100 calls, right? They'll make 10 calls and they're going to close 3 deals on the first 10 calls. They're going to be high-fiving each other and like celebrating. And then they're going to start thinking, well, shit, I already got my work done today. I already got my goal accomplished. 3 deals. Fuck yeah. Well, I guess I'll go home. The next day, though, they're not going to close 3 deals. Next day is a horrible day. And now they've made 100 calls, and they still have made 3 closes. Right? On a good day, if they kept going, they could have made maybe 6 closes and averaged out their performance at the level they need to. Why? Because they're focused on success. Here's what you tell them instead. If you're telling them, hey, you need to get 7 no's today, your job every day is to get 7 no's. On the good day, they got 3 deals closed after the first 10 calls. Shit, they still aren't done yet. They haven't gotten even a single rejection. That sucks, right? They have to go back to work. They have to actually go and earn and bring in those rejections. 7. And by the time they made 100 calls, they might have closed multiple deals, right? And it might have been a really hard day to actually get 7 rejections. And on the bad day, you know what? That bad day, they got the 7 rejections really easily and really quickly. At least, you got your goal done tonight and today, and it gives you a sense of purpose, a sense of accomplishment. And what it's going to do is going to actually allow and empower your salespeople not only to embrace rejection and make it something that they need to earn every day, but it's also going to allow them to be consistent. So on good days, they overperform, and on bad days, they underperform, but it averages out versus having good days where they stop while they're on a roll because they think they already got their quota. The next tip in terms of helping your salespeople, your sales team, and helping yourself improve the way that you actually deal with rejection is a little hack of actually rewarding yourself for rejection even further. So a thing that you could do is you could potentially, take a jar. This is an old school, old salesperson's trick. I don't know even when I learned it and from whom, but it must have been an old kind of senior sales gentleman, veteran that has been around for a long time. So what you do is you take a big jar or big wine bottle or something like that, some big vessel, and you go to the bank and you exchange $100 into pennies. And you put the pennies at your desk in the big jar, and every time you get a no, you get a rejection, you put a penny in the jar. And now what you do is, and what you tell yourself is, once the jar is full, we're rich. Once the jar is full, I've killed it. I'm wealthy, or the business has been successful, or we've accomplished some massive goal. Because if we get that much rejection, we're going to kill it, as long as we have a sales funnel that works. As long as your sales funnel doesn't look like 100 calls lead to 10 conversations lead to 10 people saying no. Obviously, then you're just spinning your wheels and you're not getting anywhere. But as long as you have a real conversion funnel that actually brings in deals, as long as you call people or pitch people, filling up a jar full of rejection is only going to make you better. And you know what? Then when you're actually talking to somebody on the phone, for instance, and they tell you no, you take that penny. And I've done this, in a past life in a completely different context. I actually had a guy on the phone say no to me. And I was like, wait, before you finish, let me do this. And I took the penny and I threw it in the jar. And I was like, did you hear that? And he's like, yeah. Well, I want to thank you because you're actually empowering me to be more successful. And then he was like, what do you mean? And I told him the vessel story, the penny story. He started laughing. We reconnected. And at the end, he actually bought, right? So you can actually be playful with this and have fun. But even more importantly, you can have it as a visual reminder and motivator and an inspirational machine that tells you every time I get rejected, I'm actually progressing towards my overall goal. And you know what the funny thing is? As you become better and better at sales, it's going to be harder and harder to get rejected at the same rate, right? Now, all of a sudden, when you started, you made 100 calls, you got rejected 7 times, you closed 3 deals. But over time, you get better. Hopefully, you make 100 calls, you close 5 deals, and you only get 5 rejections. Now, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to work harder to earn these rejections. At some point, you're going to move up in the company, or your company is going to move up in the world, and it's going to be harder and harder to be rejected because you're exposed to more and more success. But that jar is going to remind you to always stretch, to go outside your comfort zone, to not get comfortable once you actually mastered a certain level, but to look at ways to grow into the next level, which means, re-energizing that opportunity to get rejected every single day. Because rejection is like vitamins and protein for salespeople. It makes you stronger, it makes you meaner and leaner, and it's going to ultimately make you healthier and more successful in your day-to-day job. So I hope that these few tricks and ideas and philosophies will help you every day to crush it, go out there, embrace rejection. And I want to leave you with this quote from one of my favorite inspirational business people in the world, Warren Buffett. He said in an article once that his favorite trait that he looks for in CEOs is emotional stability. He looks for people that can deal with immense complexity and turmoil and challenges and stress and emotionally still keep their balance and be grounded, because these people obviously make better decisions, move forward, progress better, and build better companies. And that's the same trait that I look for in salespeople: emotional stability. Somebody that knows how to deal with rejection, the highs, the lows on every single day, and keeps performing and killing it every single day at their job. So whenever you have a chance to cultivate that emotional stability in you, know that that's going to actually propel you forward.